feeling like I'm Akademiks.
Fat Joe FBA. So let me give you like the breakdown real quick, right? So, and yo, Tariq, you my guy. I fuck with you, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what's so funny about this FBA movement? You know when they try to box people, like, you know. So here's my thing on FBA. I'll give my whole thing. Yeah, bro, we're all black people. We should celebrate and be inclusive of black immigrants, just like FBA. So FBAs are foundational black Americans, which means you could trace your lineage back to slavery within the United States, okay? Which means your lineage got brought over here by colonizers, damn near, right? Now, obviously, I'm a first generation American, if you don't know. I came over here when I was like 10, right? I was born in Jamaica. Like, my whole lineage is in Jamaica. Now I'm a black guy. Like, me accomplishing my goals, I'm glad to wave the flag of saying I'm a black man doing this in America. For whatever reason, and I don't know if it's because of like this whole like movement to try to get, what do you call it again? Reparations. There's a movement that has separated black people where it's like, all right, man, all you Negroes who are immigrants or first generation or whatever, y'all ain't really black. Or y'all ain't really like part of this real movement. And I'm like, what movement? They're like foundational black Americans. So they have essentially boxed out everybody, like people like me. And I don't really give a fuck, honestly. I think it does hurt black people as a whole when you have, okay, we have black people who are fighting not only oppression, but also trying to, continue to strive and do things to not only promote equality, but to break down barriers. But then you have some people within the black community saying, nah, well, some of y'all we don't give a fuck about because y'all not foundationally black American. And for that, I look at it and I'm like, okay. Now, I mean, I really just don't know what to say. It's like, wait, so some of y'all black people don't want to be cool with our type of black people? Because, I come from Jamaica, which also has a ancestry that's also filled with slavery. It was a colonial, it was a country that has a colonial past. Like, the people that's on our currency in Jamaica, some of them were slaves that fought against and rebelled against slavery. But whatever, I get it. That's not America. These FBA dudes are saying, nah, fuck y'all. Y'all are tethers or y'all are whatever. We only care about like the foundationally black Americans. So for me, I used to think that was like their way of saying if reparations get given out, we shouldn't get none. I don't give a fuck about no reparations, and I don't know any Jamaicans, and I know a lot of Jamaicans who came over here. We're not here saying give us reparations. So if y'all just wanted to have the reparations pot, cool. But whatever. Like, I'm still black, and whether people like Tariq would want to box people like me out the paint, I support him and I love him, and I love people, everybody that's black. There's obviously some traditional traditions that are different. There's some cultural slight differences, but at the end of the day, we also got to think about the macro perspective. When we walk outside, they look at me as black. They look at Tariq as black, right? So I kind of look at it as a little bit divisive, but I'm not going to knock him because maybe he has a goal, right? Now, what that has turned into is just like, I don't know. It's like really like, it's like classic. I won't call it racism, but it's what happens to make sure that the lower class don't get to fuck with the people in power. The way how you don't get the people who aren't in power to fuck with the people in power, you get them to fight with each other and focus on issues that have to do with each other rather than focus on the class that supposedly has put them there, right? It's like the people who are leading or who you think are Illuminati or whoever, the people in power in the United States, when it comes to people saying, well, this is unfair, you guys are getting A, B, C, and D. And this is why, I hope I'm not being scatterbrained. I want to be very concise in what I'm saying. But even like this whole thing about the United Health CEO getting killed, the people who are billionaires in this country and the people who with real power never want the people who are poor to focus on them and say, the reason why we're not getting where we need to go is because of them. If that was the case, people would storm Apple. They would storm Amazon. They would, the real headquarters. They would attack the people with the real power. But instead, that doesn't happen. You know what happens? Infighting and just divisive shit that never ever boils up to the people with the power. So my theory is that the people with the power need to create division among the people that don't have the power, that they could never band together and come for them. So when I see the FBA shit, it's kind of like little, like, again, brother, if y'all just say, oh, well, if reparations get given out, it should just be given to us, but we're all black people. I'm like, all right, whatever. Bro, I don't think no Jamaicans coming over here like, give us money for slavery in the United States. No. But this FBA movement has turned into, let's separate black people. You're not black enough. You aren't the black person who we represent. And fuck with Tariq a lot, but I can't tell if Tariq is doing that just to create a lane that he completely owns and is completely subservient to his, like, you know, ideas and ideology, or he really, like, that's what he's really standing on, because it doesn't seem to help black people as a whole. Anyway, I say all that to say, by the way, I interviewed Tariq Nasheed. And again, when he's talking all that FBA tether stuff, I don't get offended. Bro, I just don't get offended, right? But I don't know how beneficial it is. Anyway, I know you're probably saying, well, what the fuck got to do with Fat Joe? Apparently he had some comments at Fat Joe. I don't know what he said. Let me see if I can find it. Tariq Nasheed, Fat Joe. Let's look it up. Okay. All right, here we go.
Well, you said that Fat Joe is disrespectful for saying that blacks and Latinos created hip-hop 50-50. Did you actually say 50-50?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, that's just not true.
That's not true.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Fat Joe, but yeah. I mean, a lot of Latinos were around, but you can't say 50-50.
Not at all. Not at all. You can't even say 90-10. I mean, they came later. In the movie, all the pioneers, they were like, yeah, when we were doing it, there just were no Latinos participating. We had a couple in the audience watching, but they just came later. They just weren't into it early on. And that's the truth.
Yeah, and listen, you've had very prominent Latinos over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Legs, of course, Big Pun, and Fat Joe, and Cypress Hill, you know, MC Frost. Like, there's been a lot of very important figures in hip-hop. But I guess if you're talking about the original, then yeah, it was all black people.
Right, and the thing that's rubbing a lot of people the right way, there's this whole push just suddenly for there to be this co-creation. Because now hip-hop is going to the Olympics, breakdancing is in the Olympics now, so now there's a big corporate drive and there's going to be a lot of corporate money there. So now hip-hop and breakdancing and b-boying is looked at as a positive. When black people were just doing it, it was like, oh, look at those Negroes on the floor. What are they doing? That's not real dancing, that's not real music. But now that it's being internationally accepted, they have to say, well, black people didn't really do it on their own. So they're doing hip-hop like they do other genres. They do the same thing with rock and roll. It was negative until white people did it, and then rock and roll is a white thing. Country music, our sister Beyonce has a hot country album out now, and they're making it seem like she's co-opting somebody else's culture. Country music comes out of foundational black American culture. So what happens is we let people come in and just take the culture and then turn us into guests in the culture, because that's what they're trying to do with the whole Latin situation. They want to go from Latinos were 50-50 to Latinos actually created breakdancing and black folks got it from them. That's where it's going. And that's where a lot of people are like, hey, let's put a time.
Now, okay. And I think this is a little bit apart from the FBA shit. Me particularly, and, you know, again, I don't really give a fuck to be on sides. I just try to speak how I feel. Yeah, if Latinos want me to believe that they created hip hop, fuck out of here. So I'm gonna agree with Tariq Nasheed. I don't think they did at all. I'm sorry. Like I think the roots of what hip hop is is really rooted in obviously Black American, but African and specifically Islander Black Islander culture, for example, Jamaicans, right? I think, again, I don't want to just be like biased in terms because I know I'm Jamaican. I don't want to be like, I feel like Jamaicans have more claim to try to say they influenced the first, spark of that origin of hip hop more than Latinos do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if anything, I know there's respect to Latinos, but it's like, bruv, with all due respect to y'all, we seen y'all creativity. Y'all reggaeton is a ripoff of reggae, and y'all took this part of it and made an entire genre. I'm sorry, we're not giving you the credit for creating shit after that. I'm sorry to tell y'all. Okay, so I don't like to agree with some divisive shit, but I don't know if Fat Joe was saying that. But Latinos ain't create a motherfucking thing when it comes to hip hop. Cut that the fuck out. What the hell? Like, I'm sorry to tell y'all, what the fuck? Latinos ain't creating nothing. Yo, I love my Latin people, but y'all know reggaeton is a real ripoff of what niggas is doing, and I refuse to believe that y'all created hip hop or did anything that was really influential in the origin. Now, have y'all did things that have helped advance it? Of course, I would never say that. But to create it, come the fuck on, bro. Come on, stop it.
Time out on this and back it up and tell the truth.
Somebody said they didn't borrow from reggae? Nigga, reggaeton didn't borrow from reggae? Are you out of your fucking mind? you know the whole pattern of the beat, like the core structure, there's been lawsuits about this. It's based on one song. There's one reggae song that the whole reggaeton subgenre was created using basically the skeleton of that beat. Cut it out. I don't want to sit here and argue with y'all. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that breakdance.
Listen, ain't no niggas coming over here saying that they influence salsa and merengue. Okay? If there is, I'll tell them to shut the fuck up too. But let's just call a spade a spade. Us niggas ain't saying we invented salsa, merengue, and bachata. I don't want to hear motherfucking my Puerto Rican brethren or my Dominican brethren coming over here and saying they invented reggae and they invented motherfucking hip hop. Stop it.
Dancing is in the Olympics. I fell in love with hip hop breakdancing in the 80s in elementary school.
Oh, yeah.
And, but it seems like when you look at modern breakdancing, it's really run by the Asians now.
Yeah,
the Koreans, the Japanese, those are really in the forefront of breakdancing. So the fact that it's in the Olympics, I expect some Asian.
Yeah, Vlad, that doesn't matter though. Like, for example, reggae, the biggest connoisseurs of reggae these days are Asians as well, and also Eastern Europeans, because they have adopted reggae in its very original and primal form, and they just replicate that. So when people think about how reggae has progressed, they're like, who's keeping it still authentic and still like back to what it started from? It's going to be the Asians. And if you ask a lot of Jamaican performers, they used to go to Asia and get paid a lot because the Asian marketplace, they appreciate the authenticity of it. But I've never heard Asians say they were connoisseurs. They never say that they were people who created. It seemed like they were just people who allowed, who not necessarily copied, but they imitated to a certain extent, if you want me to say that.
With gold medals at this point.
Oh, yeah. Because you had people like Poppin' Pete and Boogaloo Sam, some of these West Coast guys, they were over there in Asia for years teaching them a lot of those hip-hop moves. So, the Asians are great students, too.
Yeah. A$AP Rocky actually showed up at the premiere.
Oh, yeah, that's my guy.
That's dope.
Good guy. Real solid guy. Real solid guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to play the whole thing. So let's get to what Fat Joe supposedly said. Here we go.
These rumors were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that.
Okay, let me stop it here. Do I think Tariq is a radical black racist? We got to be very careful with that, especially using the word racist when it comes to black people. Could black people be racist? Yes. Do I believe that Tariq is racist because he's doing this FBA thing? I think that's a stretch right now. I'm going to be honest with you. You know? Again, there's every group that's very, like, they might be inclusive to a certain extent, but they're very protective of their group. Like, Jewish people, they're very protective of their group. Could you call them that they're bigoted or racist because they protect their identity and they stand up? No, you would actually be seen as ridiculous. You'd be seen as an anti-Semite. So again, we have to be careful in labeling or throwing that label on even someone. Again, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he says, but Tariq Nasheed, black racist. Hold up, brother. Hold on, Fat Joe. Let me keep hearing.
Okay, it's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't.
Here's the problem with what Fat Joe is saying. I agree with you because I am Jamaican. However, because Tariq Nasheed might have a different outlook on contributions in the United States, or even why maybe a person like me is here, I am black and he is black. That's not racism, okay? That's not racism at all, okay? Now, it's still an issue that's under the umbrella of where, there are systematic problems that have to do with culture, race, and tradition, but it's not racist, right? Again, he's not hating on being black, and that's what I look at racism to be.
Down with them.
Right.
Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't black American.
Jamaicans look just like black Americans. I'm Jamaican. I look like black Americans. I'm sorry. No. See, this is where I love Fat Joe, but y'all Puerto Rican and Cuban and Dominican niggas, don't lump yourself in with us Jamaicans. No. That's not what Tariq is saying. He's not, again, his gripe with people who might be Jamaican or Trinidadian or Haitians isn't that we all look alike. Unless, tell me if Tariq has said otherwise. If he said otherwise, I'll get at him too. But no, that's not his issue. So that's the issue with people like Fat Joe. Because Fat Joe, who is Hispanic, there not only is a cultural difference, there's a phenotypical difference. You could tell a black person from a Puerto Rican dude, usually, or someone who looks like Fat Joe.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say a name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is. I'm just keeping it a buck. And that shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, your leader? Yo, man, you got to be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity doop wop. Yo, bro. Far as I know, we're at Yankee Stadium right now, and it's hip hop's 50th birthday. And the guy who invented it, Grandmaster Flash, my brother carried his crates. My babysitters made up the.
Now, what Fat Joe is saying here is definitely factually correct. If we think about the lineage and how hip hop grew over time, it's impossible to say it without also acknowledging the contributions of people who were Latino, right? All the Latinos and Latinas, of course. For me, my only objection is to say that they started it. Like, yeah, of course. Like, black culture and Latin culture, Latino culture has been really intertwined, especially here in New York. But again, when we look at hip hop as a black art, we ain't gonna give the credit to a motherfucking Puerto Rican nigga to say he started it. Of course, did the Puerto Ricans and the culture that Puerto Ricans have brought influence it? Yes. But started it? Stop playing. Just like, it's like somebody tell me that, yo, reggae was started by a nigga in Puerto Rico. Like, nigga, I'll flip the fuck out, nigga. I get go J-Man on you. I bug the fuck up right now, nigga. Stop playing, nigga. I bug the fuck up. So, yeah.
Let me hear you say, ho. It's two girls, twins, used to babysit me. They made up. Let me hear you say, ho. So they have a big problem, these guys, right? So they're against anybody who ain't with them. So this ain't a popular message. This ain't what everybody's saying. We might be giving them too much light right here is what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
So there's a small minority to get on them Twitters and they running it up. We got a fucking Looney Tune like your man Lord Jamal, who's a fucking Looney Tune. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's a loony bin, right? We just said that the drug of choice is attention. It's this and this and that. They get a guy who, he was a legend. He's brand Nubian.
Right.
And he's the wackest nigga in the crew, to be clear.
Like in a Lord Jamar?
But now, this nigga might be like trying to get lit, trying to say anything. The world's flat, the this, that, anything to go viral.
Okay. That was one of them, is it?
I just told you I stopped my shit because I go too viral. I'm scared. I'm too viral.
Right. I think we in the information era. Some people just they see so many paths. They decide to pick one, and some of them ain't the most popular one. So, you know, they just.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that this opinion comes from a tribe.
Right.
It comes from a group of people that hate everybody but them. You know, there's radical Jews, there's radical Catholics, there's radical Puerto Ricans.
Right.
There's radical anything. If you do enough of that shit, enough of in-house racism.
Now, I'll agree with that a little bit. I do think what Tariq is doing is that he's radicalizing some of what people who are cultural and black are feeling and being radical. It's like there are okay, so you have white people that might be racist, then you have like a radical group who feel like they have like this pure blood of like white ethnic Europeans that have blue eyes and blonde hair, and they don't even accept other white people, and they feel like everybody else is trying to taint them and like taint their bloodline. Yeah. I kind of do get that a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, Tariq. Yeah, you be tweaking, bro.
You wind up looking at the world fucked up and you can't even move around.
Right.
You understand? So that's how this shit come about. These guys don't like nobody but them. So hey, fuck that. This guy, why? How could he say this? How could he? Bro, have you been to my hood? Do you know where I'm from? You know, we did my brother's funerals. More black people than Spanish people at the funeral sitting next to my mother. Do you know where the fuck I'm from? But you trying to tell us what happened over here.
Tariq's live. Rock with Tariq, but like Tariq gotta explain this a little bit. I'll go watch him.
Who was Puerto Rican and the whole crew was Big Pun. He took all his money. What was his name? Triple Safe. He's broke.
That's not Tariq, is it?
And his career had his face cut just because he was telling the truth about him.
Okay. If Tariq's speaking, let me know.
All the legends I know, when I go to the legendary shit, they're all black and Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And I sit there with them and I'm like, and they don't believe it. They don't understand. They don't understand like that talk. They're like, yo, what the fuck is this about? Like, they're confused.
Now, one thing I'll say, and I hate to say, but we have to say, if we're talking about Puerto Rico or even the Dominican Republic, these are two countries. And remember, I hate when people try to equate like being Puerto Rican to just being a race, right? Because people in Puerto Rico are different race, creeds, and everything else. Being Puerto Rican is not equivalent to being black, right? And when he's saying Puerto Ricans and black, I understand why some people might have like a issue with even accepting that, because here's the thing. You know what's really popping right now in Puerto Rico is Latin music, where Bad Bunny and all these people are thriving from, where we're talking about Anuel and all these people. Number one, it's super colorist. It's super colorist. colorism, I always say, like, you know, in America, we care so much about racism because that's the biggest thing. In countries where people look a little bit more similar and there's not hard race lines, there's colorism. Like, for example, in Jamaica, there's colorism. We're all black people in Jamaica, but now the lighter you are, it's seen like you're better. And the reason why I bring that up with, like, Puerto Rico is, like, they'll be damned if they had to give credit for what they got going on now with, like, Latin music in the sense of Bad Bunny and well, to somebody who was super dark skinned or somebody who was not from Puerto Rico. So, of course, you know, again, as much as I agree with Fat Joe a lot, yeah, I'm not mad at you getting checked a little bit because Puerto Ricans ain't gonna. You think Puerto Ricans gonna let some random nigga from the U.S. saying that they're the one? Nigga, they won't even give credit to, like, obviously there's no, you know, if you really know the history, there's no direct lineage, but nigga, even though he's Hispanic too, you think they're gonna be like, oh, the reason why we get a Bad Bunny being accepted by the United States and others is because a nigga like Nori paved the way? No. Like, they look at their shit as solely Latino and solely from their country, and they ain't trying to share no fucking credit. So why the hell, when we talk about hip-hop, we got to be talking about what y'all Puerto Rican niggas did? Let niggas have their shit just like y'all have y'all shit. You know what I mean? Have y'all been influential? Of course.
The Pioneers, the Grandmaster Flashes, the Cool Hercs, the Melly Mel's, they're like, yo, we don't know what the fuck these people talking about. Because they on Twitter and they doing a little something, but I don't know what the fuck these people doing. Like, they're confused. They fucked with the wrong nigga. That's the problem. Fat Joe the wrong one. He always been the wrong one. He the Achilles of the shit. He gonna come out with that. So you remember Achilles? They wait for the nigga. They look. Is he coming out? Is he coming out? Achilles run out with the sword. Oh my God!
And you know, with all due respect to even Fat Joe, and I know he's, you know, I guess he's Puerto Rican or whatever. Yo, let me tell you this, man. Like, these days, Dominican music is popping. You know, 6ix9ine went down there and he's fucking with all the Dominican, like, vibes and everything like that. You know, shout out to all the Dominican artists, you know, Rochi and all these other people. Like, shout out to all of them, but, like, bro, Dominican Republic is the most racist island, period, my nigga. They share a fucking, they share a landmass with Haiti, and they fucking hate Haitians, my nigga. You ever went to Dominican Republic? They treat Haitians like it's like the aliens, my nigga. Like, if there's a darker skinned guy who's a Haitian guy that happens, they almost ridicule that person. Like, racism is on another level in a smaller place. Dominican Republic, and I don't care what none of y'all say. I've seen it myself. People who are Dominican do not fuck with Haitians. They look at them as lower class, dark skinned, weird motherfuckers. That's a fact. So again, it's like, bro, like, and put like this, a Haitian would completely fit in the United States with African Americans, just like an African does. So when you see that, we also got to talk about that, which that doesn't get talked about enough, right? Because them Dominicans, they do not want to be linked with Haitians, bro, and they share a country with them niggas. Or share a landmass with them. They don't want to be linked with them niggas. So all that shit, like, all right, when Haitians get, you know, well, obviously they're not trying to do it compa. Like, if you don't know compa is a Haitian music. They're not trying to do it compa, but it's like, bro, like, I don't fuck with Haitians like that. But like, Haitians, like, when I look at hip hop to me, we have African, Haitian, Jamaican. We have a lot of black traditionalist countries into it. When I hear like a Puerto Rican nigga jumping in this shit, I'm like, nigga, this ain't no fucking merengue. Nigga, get the fuck one out of here, nigga. No disrespect. But like, on some real shit. So like, I'm sorry. Y'all do the Haitians, I'm sorry. Obviously, he's not Dominican. Dominicans do Haitians crazy. I'm sorry. They do them crazy. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm a Jamaican. We look like Haitians, bro. If you're African, you look like Haitians. So when you see how they're treated over there, you're like, whatever Fat Joe be talking about, man, pipe down, nigga. Like, we not running over there to try to claim what y'all in Ozuna and J Balvin got going on, nigga. So y'all do y'all thing over there, nigga, and claim what y'all claim, but don't try to come over here like y'all made hip hop, nigga. Fuck out of here, nigga. I'm sorry.
They fucked with him. They got him up off the tent. This nigga, they got, this is wrong nigga. He don't care.
Now, even when I'm me saying all that, I do think FBA is a little bit divisive. Okay, all right, cool. Let me see. What's
That's Roots in particular. What y'all did was some historic stuff, family. Getting on code and making the Democrats crash and burn after they done spent billions of dollars.
Yo, y'all go to Tariq's page, man. Tell Tariq I rock with him, but tell Tariq, man, listen, we got to be together, man. I'm Jamaican. I'm very proud to be Jamaican. You know, I never, ever disown the fact that I'm Jamaican, and I understand I really feel foundational Black Americans need a hug. Because, again, I understand it. Immigrants come over here, y'all have done all the work and built a lot of shit, and we come over here and we are enjoying it. I get that. And we want to salute y'all. And also, like, when it comes to, like, reparations, I understand why it might be like, yo, now I might be like, you rich already, so you don't need it anyway. But it's like, I understand why it might be like, yo, an immigrant from Jamaica at this point shouldn't be included if reparations are given. I actually even understand that. I understand the FBA and that type of wave. But I do believe that, you know, us, whether we're Jamaican immigrants, whether we're African immigrants, shout out to my people from Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Liberia, South Africa, shout out to my people from Sudan, shout out to my people from Egypt, shout out to, like, there's so many great countries that they come over here and they do amazing things. I feel like the FBA kind of like y'all be trying to make it seem like other Black people y'all ops. Like, that sounds kind of crazy. Anyway, I won't get too much into that. All right, cool. That was Fat Joe was saying. Fat Joe, I'm disagreeing with you. I do think people like Tariq, and I hate to say like, but I do think he's kind of separating people a bit. But I'm not gonna knock some of the points he has, and we got to find middle ground, right? But I will say, you know, with all due respect to somebody like Fat Joe, bruh, there's so much division within Black people that when you start talking about Puerto Ricans and shit like that, we just looking at you like, my nigga, like, we still don't even, bro, they got FBA's beefing with Jamaicans, my nigga, like, bro, we don't give a fuck about no Puerto Ricans right now, nigga, the fuck, like, yeah, you can't have an FBA looking at somebody who came from Nigeria, nigga, with nothing and made something, and they're looking at them as the ops. So again, with all due respect, you know, I would say to Fat Joe, just chill off on into all that stuff.